Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Strawberry Hill Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Simmons. And of course, as always, we're here at the Shop Cigar Lounge. Like I always say every week, if you haven't came and seen us, please stop by. Always a great time, always a good atmosphere. Come and see us. And then make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Make sure you follow us on all the platforms. Michael the Mike on Facebook, Strawberry Hill Podcast on Instagram. And I think that's it. Yeah. So today, got two of my friends from the local KCK Chamber. We got Danny Silva and then Renee. I'm not going to say
Hadley.
First name. Renee Hadley.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, man?
Pretty good. You know, it's been a little warm lately, but looking forward to some cooler weather.
Oh, you ain't kidding. It has been, 100 almost every day. And it is. I'm like, I've never been such a, I've always been a summer person, but this year, I'm just give me some 60-degree weather.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or 70-degree weather.
It's tough wearing a suit jacket around and walking around.
Yeah, that's why my whole wardrobe changes in the summer. Because normally I'm suit and tie and everything, and I can't wear that. I kudos to you, my friend.
I'm sweating underneath this.
So tell me about the KCK Chamber, man. So you guys have both been involved, and you are the president, correct?
President, CEO.
The head honcho, the El Jefe.
No, I got a great team, and it's open door policy. My ideas aren't always the best. Usually they're not, and so I got great input. Renee Hadley is our membership director. She's been on about a year now. So she's actually celebrating her 1-year anniversary this month. So,
happy 1 year.
Thank you.
You like it? You want me to keep his ear shut?
I love it. No, honestly, I've been in the hotel and hospitality industry for over 20 years. Was always a chamber member. Our businesses always were engaged in the chamber. And outside of even my involvement with the chamber, Danny was my neighbor. So I knew him on a personal level.
Oh, yeah.
And he jokes that he had to hire me to keep me quiet. But no, I always appreciated what he had been doing and driving for our community. So a chance to get to work in Kansas City, Kansas Chamber with the famous Danny Silva. Sign me up.
Yeah. It's famous or infamous. That's one of those two.
Hey, they both sound cool though. So how long have you been with the chamber?
So I've been in this role for about 8 years now. December will be my 9th year. I've got
8 role as director or
I started I think about a year in. I was executive director. That was my official title. After year 1, that was changed to president and CEO. So I've been in this role for a while now. It's been fun. It's been tough too, right? We've had some tough things happen to our business community and society in general. And we've been able to keep this chamber going. It's a 125 plus year institution. Jeez. So it's been part of this community for that long as an anchor of the community, a partner, all with the goal to drive business success and growth. And we'll do that through government affairs, networking, bringing people together and promoting. So we do a really good job, I think, of marketing our businesses, sharing their successes, and hopefully driving people to the establishments for those that have a brick and mortar. And small businesses want to ring that register, right? And so we try to help with that as much as possible. And on the government affairs side, we do a lot to advocate for businesses on the local level, state level, and federal level so that, you can run your business without too much hassle. It doesn't become burdensome. I'm talking property taxes in general, permits and zoning. We try to make it as easy for these businesses as possible. So we'll work with the government to make it happen, or we'll press on the government a little bit to make that happen.
I don't think a lot of people know exactly what a chamber does, and it's a lot.
Well, I like to tell people, the chamber, think of the chamber as a great intersection between community, business, and government. Now, we're a business membership organization, but, we have to be active, proactive members of the community. If we don't have healthy people, safe streets, crime and safety is under check, then we're not going to have a good economy and businesses aren't going to want to be here.
Yeah.
We have legislation that is, we call it onerous to businesses, then businesses won't stay. Or if the price tag is too high to do business, then they won't stay. And then that would be very unfortunate because we have such great pockets and neighborhoods in KCK, especially Strawberry Hill. I live in the community, so it's great to just walk everywhere. Yeah. But these businesses need support, and we're here for that.
Yeah, and I think it's one thing about Wyandotte County that we do have, your major corporations, just, a few of them, but there is a lot of small business in Wyandotte County, especially in the heart of downtown KCK. And I think something like at the chamber, like I think a lot of businesses should be taking, advantage of that opportunity to get in and get help when needed and get the exposure. And because you guys, I joined and you guys came and did my ribbon cutting, which I thought was cool. Because it's something a business doesn't really think about. Like, oh, let's do like a grand opening ceremony ribbon cutting. Like, you can do it on your own, but it's kind of more if you're like doing it with an organization because they can bring more people out, you get more exposure, networking, and
we really love to big up our businesses, right? And you've got a great spot here.
Well, thank you.
It deserves to be recognized and promoted.
Thank you.
Anyone we've ever bought here, I think, has just been totally amazed by how cool it is in here, slick in here, and we love to share that. And again, Renee coming on from the hospitality industry, she's been a great help to me and to the organization, and she's got this awesome soft touches. I think it's that hospitality expertise you have there, but businesses love her.
Yeah.
Business owners love her.
She's pretty cool. I'll give her that.
She is pretty cool. I will say that too. She was my neighbor at one point.
Yeah.
The next door neighbor. Yes. And so
I'm still trying to get her to smoke a cigar.
Yeah. She'll get there.
I'll get there.
You'll get there
I'll get
one
there.
of these times.
Yes.
So what made you want to get on to the chamber?
Be nice.
Oh, no. 20 years in hospitality and post-pandemic, just things were different. Things changed. And also, in addition, our family grew and I had a granddaughter. And so I started reevaluating, how do I get to spend more time with my family and my friends?
Yeah.
And then found the opportunity with the chamber, spoke with Daniel about the direction that we're going. And again, post-pandemic, things look different for everyone.
Yeah.
And being able to play a part in establishing our community within the metro area, building on that, it was just all things checked lots of boxes. And it also gave me a unique opportunity to have time with, my family and my friends. Hotels are 24/7.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so while I love the industry and still highly recommend that's your career path, take it. It's awesome. I was glad to get in on this side of it to where we are really connecting with our businesses, our communities, our schools, and doing more for our own backyard.
Yeah.
You need to get some more hotels down here. I don't know how you can figure that out.
Yes, we're going to figure that out.
Because we got one
down here, yeah.
One in downtown KCK. I know that you guys can't just say, all right, we need another hotel. Let's do it. But
Danny, say it.
Yeah.
All right, we need another hotel. Let's do it. Well, I think, we definitely need to be thinking through that. World Cup is just a couple of years away.
Yeah. And that was one of my questions is like, how is KCK preparing for World Cup? Because that's one of the biggest events in the entire world.
Yeah, it's a colossal event.
Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people realize how big this event is.
Yeah. The last presentation we attended, they're anticipating between 500 and 600,000 additional people coming to the metro area. KCMO, I believe, has 500,000. So essentially, we're doubling in size.
Yeah.
Going to have to figure out where everyone's going to be, based and housed via hotels, Airbnbs. I mean, people are going to have to get really creative.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of Airbnbs in KCK.
Yeah, transportation is going to be a major key. It's going to be a huge event. In the terms of the role that we play, we serve on the Wyandotte County World Cup Readiness Task Force, which is chaired by our County Administrator, David Johnston, and our CEO of Visit KCK, Alan Carr. Now, David Johnston is on the World Cup 26 board. So that's the overarching board that's kind of handling, the welcoming party, if you will. We will have 6 matches, one of which will be a final 32 and one will be a quarterfinal. So we're going to have some really high-level soccer here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they've not announced what the teams are that will have base camp here, but we think it'll be at least 3 teams. One at the KC Current, one at the new Rock Chalk Stadium in Lawrence, and then one at the Mineral Compass location.
Yeah.
And so those are practice facilities, state-of-the-art. We do think we have some of the best facilities in the nation. So we're hoping I'm saying we're all trying, we're all putting our prayers up, but that board is really working to recruit top-tier teams. So I'm not going to say any names, but think of any top tier teams that were in the last 16 round of 16 last World Cup. There's some big names up there. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, because I think there's like 64 teams maybe, or a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that's in the whole entire world.
Secretly, we want Croatia because we have such a great Croatian following here, and St. John's is around the corner. I can't even just think of how that would look like.
That would be crazy here.
And that's going to be one of the hardest tickets in town to get. You know, we're going to have dignitaries, royalty, prime ministers coming in to watch these matches, to watch their teams play. So it's going to be a real big deal. We're trying to figure out a way that our businesses will benefit.
Yeah.
So this task force will be putting together, you know, street festivals. So say, you know, we can't go to the game, but we can certainly celebrate. Yeah. Right. And so we're thinking of some festivals around the community, not just here downtown, but out west, in the middle, and to coordinate kind of a community calendar, if you will, or tie into existing events like Third Friday Art Walk. You know, does that fit in a time frame of when the World Cup will be here in 26? And can we just kind of plug into that? You know, and so we're exploring all avenues. Funding's always a challenge. Yeah. But we'll figure that out, and then really just position our businesses to benefit. So if we know, and don't take my word for it, say Germany's the team, right? One of the teams, and they have base camp out in KCK, and they're going to bring their entire fandom. Now, Germany's not going to play all their games here. They're going to travel. Yeah. Which is also an advantage for us because we're in the middle of the country, right? And so
so it's easy travel.
Easy travel for everybody. But then these folks, maybe they don't get tickets to that game in New York. But they're going to be here. So we need to bring them down to experience Brits or, you know, this beautiful area or here. And so how can we coordinate either personal travel or some kind of shuttles that are bringing those people here? They're going to go to Legends because they're going to be out that way anyway. But I think it's so culturally diverse down here that it would be a miss if we didn't take advantage of all of these tourism dollars that will be here. Yeah, and so they should come down and get a Reuben, stop by and get a cigar. Yeah, you know, and then maybe have a drink at Chicago's.
So you're pretty much like pretty heavily involved in all this. Are we working well with like KCMO too? Because I hope there's no like you're over there, you guys do your thing, we're over here, we do our thing.
Know, we're blessed that the Greater Kansas City Chamber is led by former Mayor Joe Reardon. Yeah, and so you know we feel very much that there's a lot of collaboration. And it's going to have to be, right? Because if the base camps are this way, Arrowhead obviously is in Missouri, and that's where the matches we play.
Hopefully, they move.
We're a metro region, right? And there is the state line there, but I think the more that we think about regionalism and a metro region, I think the better off we'll be on a whole. And so even for us, you know, we're the KCK Chamber of Commerce. Obviously, we'll take care of our backyard, but we've intentionally gone out to make ourselves a more regional chamber, have more of a regional presence, and be more of a regional player in that conversation, right? So we're closest to KCMO. Obviously, we border Shawnee. We have members from all over, Shawnee, from Johnson County, Leavenworth, Jackson County, Lee Summit. And so we're proud of that, you know, and I think we need to take that approach all the way. I don't really observe the state line, right? If there's a good spot in City Market, I'm going to go there, right? And people cross over here all the time for all the great tacos that we had. We just had a few.
Yeah, Taco Trail.
The
shout out to
Trail.
Las
Shout out
Palmas.
to Taco Trail, Red Bus Party Machine.
And he brought me some great tacos.
Rob Galicia is doing an amazing job at partnering with Visit KCK. So for folks who have not been on the Taco Trail, they should sign up. It's awesome. It's themed. You know, they can do carnita tacos, tacos asada. You know, they switch it up.
Like they switch it up. Like oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they'll theme the tacos. I think the last night was pastor tacos, and so they'll go to 4 different restaurants, and each restaurant will have their version or their style of pastor. The one I was on was carnitas, which is pork, and they were all different, and they were all delicious. So it was a good time.
Have you been on it?
I have not.
Oh, come on, you gotta get on it. I'm saying all this. I haven't even been on it yet. So
not on the Red Bus tour. I mean, I certainly have made my mark.
You've been on your own personal taco tour.
Okay,
absolutely.
So what's your favorite taco place?
Oh, don't do that.
We're doing it.
Doing it.
You can name a couple to make you feel better.
Well, the one thing that I do want to say is that very much like if I'm choosing pizza or barbecue, I kind of like different things at different ones. So, I mean, I love the chicken enchiladas at, you know, El Camino right around the corner. And I love Gigi Barbacoa's. Like, there's so many different little tasty bites. But We do our fan favorites of just running right down the street to Las Palmas for sure.
Yeah.
All right. What about you?
Well, I get real specific on my tacos, right? And so for my carne asada tacos, I like to get them from Las Palmas, Minnesota. And shout out to those guys. They're fantastic. If I'm going to get pastor tacos, I'll go to Camino Real. If I'm going to get carnitas tacos, I'll go to Tacos El Tío. If I want chicken, I'm going to Pollo Rey.
And
so
man, he's got it down to a
science. I'm so I'm not going to get carne asada tacos at Pollo Rey or at Camino Real, but I will get it from Las Palmas. And so depending on what taco I want, then the location's going to differ. And Gigi's is also amazing if I want barbacoa tacos.
Gigi's just moved, didn't they?
Did they?
Not
They were
just
on the
moved,
street.
but
they did
back.
move their location.
So
it's a bigger spot.
I've been on my own taco trail for my whole lifetime. So
it's cool that they do
taco
it here.
connoisseur.
Yeah. So, question for both of you guys: what is your favorite? And it's a loaded question. What is your favorite part about KCK? I guess a couple things about it, about this area, about being here, about living here. Like, because you guys are heavily invested in the community, which I love, especially with the chamber. Like, what's your favorite thing about Wyandotte County?
I'll defer to Renee and let her go first.
Well, I've lived in Kansas City, Kansas all my life.
She's a dot.
Shout out to Piper. She lived there first. I know everyone likes to crap on Piper.
Was it Turner? You're
technically from Turner.
Okay, I didn't say you're not from Turner. I said you lived in Piper.
I did live in Piper.
Yeah.
My daughter graduated from Piper, so we had 20 plus years invested in that community.
I get a lot of flack that are from Piper. Like, I can't help where I grew up.
It was a good space. But I will tell you that so she went to college and I was looking for something different and someplace different. And a very dear friend of mine had just said, as much as community in your neighborhoods mean to you, why don't you consider Strawberry Hill? And I was just like, I've like been to Brits. And that was my exposure. Her mother grew up so very much like this neighborhood where there's 3, 4, 5 generations of people that are rooted in this community. I transplanted less than 15 years ago. And when I moved down here, it was just an immediate welcome. And so I think that that's what's so special. And it's everywhere. I mean, that we talk about the Midwest and how it feels. And even when you go back to kind of the talk about World Cup, it's that conversation. Just let them come and see and feel Kansas City and Kansas City in whole. But I think it's even more special in Kansas City, Kansas. And so, or at least that's, my take on it. But you have those pockets of the neighborhoods and the people that are proud to be where they're from. How you share that, but you're also sharing that love. You want people to experience it. We're not trying to, keep this to ourselves. We really do want to share that.
Yeah, I think there's such a civic pride in Kansas City Metro, but even more in Wyandotte County.
I agree.
I don't think that there's a county out there that has their own like trademark logo shirt and like Wyandotte, just like Wyandotte made or whatever. Like I don't think any other dot original. I don't think any other county has that except us.
Look, we were in a meeting this morning about the 18th Street Bridge project, and Governor Kelly is there, and the mayor stands up and he's like, "This is like we're proud that this federal fund is coming here to for our infrastructure and repair," and he was like, and he did a shout out right there. He's like, the dot's moving forward and stuff. And if you're listening to that and you're outside of Wyandotte County or this immediate 20-mile radius, you're like, the dot's moving forward? What's that?
Sure
but
are.
We know.
It's like jump on the train or get off.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about this community.
All right, Danny. Now we
Original
have to go to you. Yeah.
Original dot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think for me, I'm not originally from KCK or Kansas City. I know.
You're a transplant.
Yeah, I'm a transplant. Born and raised in Chicago. Came down here for school. I went to UMKC. I joke. Many pounds ago, I used to run track and cross country in college. Was all right.
Wait,
pretty
what
decent.
event?
Long distance.
Oh,
So 5K, 10K, 8K. When Coach wanted to punish us, he'd make us run the mile, which was hard. But distance running, and it was great. And then worked here for a little while, and then moved back to Chicago, and then lived in D.C. for a while. All that to say is, I think before I got this job, I was living in West Plaza. I had moved back, and West Plaza is a nice neighborhood on its own. I enjoyed it, and I got the job here. And there was no requirement really for me to live here, but I felt it was important.
Yeah.
If I'm going to represent a community, represent businesses in a community, I should live in the community.
Of course,
right? I mean, that makes sense because people have to. If I'm trying to promote it, I got to believe it. There's no stronger way to say that than I live in this community too. So I was immediately drawn to Strawberry Hill. It reminds me a lot of the old school neighborhoods in Chicago, some in DC, a lot of character. And you still got brick sidewalks in some places, which is really cool.
It's funny you said that because I had a guy from Chicago came here last night. He comes every about month or two for business, and he'll come in here all the time. And he goes, "This place reminds me of Chicago."
Yeah.
Because every time I come in Wyandotte County in Strawberry Hill, like he goes, it reminds me of Chicago.
And it's walkable. I have moved. I was living next door to Renee there, and then now I'm on Thompson and Sandusky, which is right literally on the hill, right next to St. John's, and that's great.
You tell everybody your address. Don't bother Danny.
In that neighborhood, there's about 5 cops that live on my block, so there you go. But it's the walkability that I really have enjoyed. And again, just such a cool neighborhood. Obviously, out west is a little different. But again, that speaks to the diversity, right? And I think it's important. I thrive in places where there's a lot of diversity and a lot of options, and the ability to just walk down the hill, really, and end up at an awesome, dope cigar shop.
Yeah.
Or, a nice watering hole with awesome deli sandwiches. That's really cool to me. So I really enjoyed it. I think the people have been really great. A little tough in the beginning, if you're not from here. A lot of pride.
Yeah. I tell people that. I'm glad you brought that up because it's one of those things. It's like I try to correct people all the time because Wyandotte County people, we are very proud to be from Wyandotte County. Yeah. And then it's like if you hear for someone not from Wyandotte County, you're kind of like, ugh. You're like, hey. Just like if they're here, they want to support Wyandotte County, let them. Don't stick your nose up if they're not from Wyandotte County.
Also, half the people are wearing Strawberry Hill Mafia shirts.
Hey.
And I don't know what that is.
That
makes me a little nervous.
Yeah. No, about it. You got to be about it, right?
In all seriousness, and I come from an immigrant family. Both my parents are immigrants to this country, blue collar factory workers, and you get a lot of that down here. Not that everyone's working in a factory, but I think that pride is that blue collar pride. You work hard, you take it easy, hit the watering hole afterwards. And you belong to a community. Yeah. Right. So I think that's very beautiful. I'm definitely more of an urban setting kind of guy. Like suburban doesn't really do it for me a whole lot. I mean, it's nice and all, but I like to breathe and feel energy and emotion and diversity. Right. And there's no shortage of tacos either or barbecue.
You ain't kidding.
So I'm a happy guy.
The best barbecue in the state.
Absolutely.
In the metro.
We've got them here. We've got the lines around the corner trying to get in that place.
Like Slaps is by far my favorite barbecue. And I tell people, like, you can talk about Joe's, Q39 all you want. They're good. Slaps is better.
Gates, I like
Gates is good too, but Slaps is my number one.
Yeah, they've done a great job.
Yeah, and it's like you said something about like the suburbs and stuff. Like, because I live out west. I live out there in Piper still. And it's like when I come down here, it's like I'm coming into a different city, state, and everything. It's completely different feel. Like it's more, like you say, it's like urban. It's like, it's like, it's hard to describe because you're out there, people kind of tend to themselves. Like if you get down here, there's way more community. It's just not a bad thing for out west. Like it's just like you're just out west, people doing their things. It's suburbs, but down here, it's like there's so much like community and family and like it's like that's what I love about Strawberry Hill in general.
And then we're on record obviously for support as an organization for supporting the mayor's vision about urban development inside of the 635 corridor. I think that's absolutely essential. We literally border City Market, downtown KCMO, and just living here, and Renee, you've probably seen it as well. I mean, I have seen an influx of folks that are coming this way, maybe a little too pricey now at the 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights.
Yeah.
But we've seen houses go up for sale and get sold within a day or two, and people are paying, cash down more than the asking price. So that to me sends a message that people are finding out about Strawberry Hill, and I think the goal will be to ensure that we don't lose the spirit of the community, right? And so if we're known for diversity and Croatians have been here a long time, Slav, Polish, Latinos, we certainly don't want to get to the point where then they're no longer in this community, right? Because they make up the community. That's what makes it kind of gives it that fabric. So we need to be careful, in terms of
you don't
that,
want to push anybody out. Yeah.
I think it would be great for us to obviously build more housing, whether it's condos, market rate, or, workforce type style housing, maybe a mix of both. Because I'm guessing a lot of the Wyandotte County kids that grew up here went off somewhere else, got great jobs, went to college, maybe don't live in Wyandotte County, but the parents do.
Yeah.
So how do we find a way to bring those type of individuals back? They will have more disposable income. Maybe they don't have a family yet. They all come down here, right? They're all at Chicago's, at Brits, Easy Inn. But how do we get them to come back to the community and entice them, though, right? Like, we would need some nice condo complexes or market rate apartments. To get those folks back. And that would be cool, too, to get, all those ex-Bishop Ward students and grads.
It's like a cult.
It is a cult.
I love people, but, man, it's like if you're from Ward, you're like, it's a Piper Ward rivalry.
I have found that, and conversations with dots, where'd you go to high school?
Yeah.
Like, not here.
It's always.
Where'd you go to church? Not
like,
here.
It's 2 or 3 questions. Where are you from? Wyandotte County. Oh, yeah. Where'd you grow up at?
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
Yeah.
And it's like you are based off of those 3 things.
Yeah. But all in all, I think folks have been great. And again, we're here to hopefully make a positive impact and do everything that we can. And, you just got to be with the people, though, right? I mean, if you just hold up in an office or never come down and interact, then you're not going to gain trust that way. And so we've done our best to visit local watering holes and make sure people are feeling the love.
Yeah.
And support the local economy, Mike. That's what what we're trying to do.
I see you around all the time. I always seen Renee walking the street, going which way, every way.
Membership engagement.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm like, she is working her butt off. Like, she needs a raise.
Well, and again, she has such a great touch. And it's like, I don't think about stuff like that. It's like, well, I'm going to go and take cookies to our members. I'm like, right. That's genius. Right?
Yeah, she's on top of it.
There's a hospitality touch. It's just wonderful. It's been wonderful.
And then, so you talked a little bit about Strawberry Hill, like what you liked about it. I feel like this area is booming.
Yeah, it's booming.
Like, it's about to, like I tell people, like, this is almost the new Brookside.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting there where a lot of people are moving in. A lot of people are putting businesses down here. You got a lot of a younger generation moving in.
Yep.
So you're really starting to see this area thrive. And I love it down here.
Yeah, this is just something I do, but I do check license plates. Not that I'm taking them down, but it's always really interesting to me because we'll be at a place and want like the Davenport right next door. All the TVs, people watching games, and I just kind of scanning license plates because you'll see Johnson County plates, Missouri plates. You'll see Wyandotte County plates, but anyone that lives around here is probably walking.
Yep.
And so that's interesting, but that does send a message to me that. Word is getting out.
Yeah.
And we're getting such diverse places. Like this place is its own kind of universe when we step inside of here, right? Blue Palm Tiki, we're getting ready to have a ribbon cutting there. The old Mockingbird has that great view of KC. That's a whole different vibe.
That is one of the best views in KC.
Yeah. You go down to Brits, that's a different vibe, right? You get some hipster vibes at Hillsiders. And Easy Inn, and all that's cool. And then Chicago's is its own thing.
Chicago's is like Cheers.
Yeah. And then 403 Club, if you like pinball and all that, that's another vibe.
Yeah, it's like every bar has its own kind of feel down
and it's all within, it's less than a mile away. And so I love the walkability of this neighborhood. It's been fantastic. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And we have the sporting complexes, right? Sporting KC, KC Monarchs, the Speedway. And maybe a professional team.
Maybe we'll hope so. We need you guys to be pushing. I need you to bring more cookies to the Chiefs and Royals.
Be amazed how far you get with cookies, man. I bring tacos,
and cookies. Feel like we can get a professional team. We keep bringing those two.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. That'd be
so we kind of glazed over a little bit earlier, but the challenges with like the pandemic, and I kind of wanted to get into like what did you guys face as the chamber during that time in 2020 when everything was shut down. And so you guys, you being the chamber, you're trying to support businesses, like that was like the time to really get out to support.
And I'm sure, the hospitality industry, and Renee was the GM over at the Hilton Garden Inn at the time. Hotels took a hit too.
Yeah.
I believe that during the pandemic, nurses from KU would stay in the night at the Hilton Garden Inn as they were doing shifts. Because they didn't want to contaminate their families or spread in case they got. Yeah, I didn't know that either, and I thought that was very interesting. I think for us as an organization in that time frame, It's so funny, and shout out to Nebraska Furniture Mart, because we had been in conversations in 2019, early 2020, about remodeling our space. And for those of you that have not been there, it's been totally designed by Nebraska Furniture Mart.
Mm-hmm.
They in-kinded all the furniture, the TVs, technology. It really upgraded our space.
Yeah, it looks nice in there.
Yeah, it's real nice, and it's essentially a downtown showroom, right, for NFM. But absolutely great partner. Nastasia Williams is their president of the KC store, and she's fantastic. She's a KCK native.
Oh, really?
I think she went to Washington High School. Very proud KCK public school product. And it's amazing to see her in that role. She's been really fantastic to us. All that to say, our goal for redesigning our layout was to create a more open environment to allow for more businesses to come in and really have one-offs and just really be in group settings and such. And that was early 2020. We put the wheels in motion, boom, pandemic.
Yeah.
Total shutdown. They still did it during, June of 2020, but we weren't able to use that space as we truly envisioned it until 2022, after the pandemic was over. And so to your question about the pandemic, what we do really well is connect people, right? And whether it's a networker, a coffee networker, a luncheon, but it's mostly in person. So we really had to get creative. And again, we were all learning as everybody else was, right? Zoom. We quickly decided the networking doesn't work via Zoom, and it's just really impersonal.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I think it was important for us, and we have a great relationship with our government officials, from Governor Kelly down to Lieutenant Governor Toland.
Yeah.
And so we were in constant communications with them and the health department. Mayor Alvey at the time was mayor. I thought he did a fantastic job of trying to get us through this.
It's very hard.
Yeah, the information was the thing that was very difficult, because depending on what county you were in, you're either masked up or not, or businesses either could or could not do things. And so it was really important for us, for one, to be in line with the metro, but sometimes we just had to do our own thing, right? And for us, getting information out to our members was key. And the funding that was available, making sure that our members had an opportunity to catch is probably the wrong word, but take advantage of the PPP or the EIDL loans, all the things that a small business would need. If you, like your job, your role here is like, you need people in here. And if we're limiting you to 25% people, that might not be worth it for you, because you still have to pay whoever's working for you. And so we had to work with our government locally to ease up on some of these regulations, allow for outdoor seating. And then for the bars, let's give them the opportunity to sell alcohol to go, because, you're already saying they can't have people in there. So a place like Chicago, it's not very big.
Yeah.
And so if you cut their attendance to 25%, it's hard to justify being open even.
Yeah.
And so we worked with our local government and the state to try to figure that out. And obviously the federal funding helped. As an organization, I think we're kind of like a small business too, Renee. We have less than 5 employees. We're lean and mean. We own our building. So we also had to come up with money in a time.
You guys have less than 5 employees?
Yeah.
Jeez. I didn't know that. You guys do all that with...
That's why I have to walk up and down the street.
Yeah,
so
that makes
fast.
sense.
Many hats.
Yeah.
I double as the IT guy sometimes.
Yes.
I double as a janitor sometimes. Whatever it takes to get it done. But we took advantage of PPP loans, and without it, we wouldn't have been able to survive.
No.
So I think when we talk to businesses, we do have firsthand experience of what it's like to just run lean and mean, and wear multiple hats, and you run a business. So if something's wrong in the bathroom, you can't wait around for somebody else to do it. You got to do it yourself, right? And so we understand that. But again, I will say a lot of our smaller businesses did not make it after PPP, and that was really unfortunate.
Yeah, it hurt. I mean, it hurt a lot of
It hurt a
stuff.
lot of
That's why
people.
I'm kind of glad I didn't have this vision then, because it would have I live off people coming in here.
Right.
Yeah, and if I can't have people coming in, it's just just.
And we also saw some amazing. There's a lot of love in this community. From the corporate sponsors on down. And I'm going to shout out MPB companies. It's a private security company. They're African-American owned. Norm Smith, he's had some health issues, but I hope he's on the mend. they've been in business 20 years. They do festivals,
Mm-hmm.
they do concerts, they do March Madness, and they also do private security. But so those are like maybe their 4 pillars.
Yeah.
3 of those got knocked down immediately when the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And, this is a smaller business. They're a sponsor of ours,
Mm-hmm.
meaning they give us, north of X $1,000.
Yeah.
And, we knew we were going to have some heartache with some of our corporate sponsors, but guess what? He didn't hesitate 1 minute, and he still honored his commitment to us as a sponsor, even though his business was struggling so mightily.
Yeah.
And so that just says a lot to me as the type of people that are here.
Mm-hmm.
His business is on 7th Street next to Johnny's on 7th. And it was just very touching because despite the hardships that they were going through, he felt compelled enough to support our organization. And he knows what we do for businesses smaller than his. And that was important to him.
Yeah.
As a minority-owned business owner, he got it. But we saw a lot of that. A lot of our partners stepped up. We maybe lost one corporate sponsor during the entire pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of grace being given. And I think that was a good thing that came out of the pandemic because I think hopefully people came together more.
Yeah.
Supported one another and maybe just offered one another more grace. I know business can be kind of cutthroat, but that example that I just shared, I think was really touching for me personally.
So, got a 2-part question. I'm gonna start with you.
Okay.
First thing is, what, as I guess this chamber, what can you guys kind of tell me, or us, or whatever, like what's coming, like KCK, what cool things are coming that you guys know about, or what things that I gotta get it out of you. Yeah. So, because there's some things that some people know about, or you don't have to say like, oh, the Chiefs are coming. What?
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. So my son-in-law thinks he's always going to get information on me.
Uh-huh.
And right when they passed the bonds, he calls and he's like, "Are you?" And I said, "Dude, I had to sign an NDA."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Then that means they're coming." And I'm like,
No.
First of all, I want to be clear. I do membership and events.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be at the table where I would have to sign an NDA. So I hate to be the one to tell you, Mike, I don't have a scoop.
Okay. No, and it could be with anything. Like
this is the one thing that I love our collaborations with, like wine.edc and Visit KCK. Great partners of ours is that get to hear in their meetings and see things. But genuinely what I know is public record, but there are a lot of really exciting, veins that they're exploring and things that are going down. But
yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Well, I'm not trying to like
be your person.
Yeah, I don't want to pull strings out here because like the bridge, like the Rock Bridge. What is it called?
Rock
Island Bridge. Like because a lot of people don't know about that. And like that's coming. I know it's delayed another year.
It is delayed, and it'll open in the spring. But no, it's that connectivity between Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri, where you're literally in the West Bottoms, but you're in Kansas.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that that project. There's people that don't even know what's going on at Homefield out. And it's a massive complex.
Because Margarita's coming.
Margaritaville right
then
behind
Top
that.
Golf's coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is,
Like, did that spoil something?
No.
You gotta ask us, Mike. You already know.
It's in production, yeah.
I mean, you do run a cigar shop.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that come
fly
here
on
and
the
talk.
wall.
I
Right?
am
Just
sure,
kind
yes,
of,
that I should probably be coming down and asking you what you've heard.
I've signed NDAs too, right?
I come around
What
7
happens in
p.m.
shop
after,
stays in
after
shop.
happy hour.
After the happy hour, yeah, for sure.
All right, what can you tell us, Dan? What's coming?
That
We can know.
No, I think
That
Renee's
people can
covered
get excited about.
I do think there has been a big push again on this urban development piece. Obviously the old Reardon Center. I know Mr. Lanier has tried and is trying to get a project off the ground there to make it into a mixed use, as I understand it, housing and retail.
Yeah.
That is one of our front doors, right? Or a door that we use, people come through. And so for us to develop that, I think is a miss, but I think there's momentum on that. The new home field development's absolutely stunning. They're hosting tournaments year round.
Yeah.
on any day, I think you can just show up and you'll run into a former KU basketball player. I think Sharon Collins was there not too long ago.
Yeah.
A couple other athletes. I think he's coaching.
Mm-hmm.
But again, pretty cool to see. So it's an awesome complex. Margaritaville, we went to that grand opening, or ribbon cutting is what they call it, and it was awesome. We were at the Rock Island Bridge for their, it wasn't a ribbon cutting, there was like nailing a spike on the bridge or something. The governor did attend. Props to Mike Zeller and his team. He's I kind of call him the mad scientist, right? Because he really was walking around with a rendering and kind of selling this idea 4 years ago. And he's turning it into reality. It's a one of a kind destination location. We're thinking Monday Night Football when they do the blimp and all that.
Yeah.
That's going to be a money shot, right? I mean, it's an entertainment district on a bridge. I liken it a lot like the High Line in New York. And Chicago's got a couple of those where they repurpose, whether it's a structure or a train line, and turn it into something that people can use.
Mm-hmm.
It's walkable. People are going to be able to bike through. They're going to have vendors, bars, and an event space on the third floor. We've been out there since the beginning, and it keeps getting doper and doper. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
The Yards housing complex is right there. They're building another building. I think it's called the Helms. That will be in KCK.
What is it? Is it
the Helm or something like that? It's called.
Yeah, it's an apartment.
Yeah, similar to the Yards.
Over there.
Right next door is Stockyards Brewing Company, which is our official beer sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to those guys. We've been with them for the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
They've done a great job. Doesn't help when you have a product sponsor, right? That's always great.
Oh yeah,
doesn't hurt. But again, they're just outside of KCK. I think their parking lot is in KCK. And again, for us, we're trying to be a metro region,
mm-hmm.
and that's close enough, man. That's good. We'll take it. But it's really exciting. I think it's just such a cool time to be in Kansas City, and it's just so great that a lot of that activity is bubbling up this way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in terms of that professional team that could land in Wyandotte County, obviously the package has been put out there, right? The legislature worked pretty quickly to put that revise that Star Bonds package to entice a professional team. Now, we would be in competition with everyone else in Kansas, but we do think there's a shot if there's a deal to be made.
Yeah.
The package is there. Now I understand KCMO is working on their own package. And again, we need to probably do a better job of playing nice, being collaborative. There is no border war as far as we're concerned.
No, but I want them. So I will do whatever I can.
Yeah.
You guys might not say that. But I will listen. And if Chiefs, if you're listening, whoever, Mr. Hunt, you come down here. I'll take care of you. Free membership, anything you need, sir.
Nice.
Bring the Chiefs over. I know
You're so
one
generous.
membership's going to get them. I know
You're so
it is.
generous.
Yeah, I'm so generous.
So generous.
Well, and
I am willing to bribe you to get here.
I always tell people, Mike, you've done such an amazing job with this locale. The aesthetic is beautiful. You got Peaky Blinders paintings, Willie Nelson paintings. It's a cool vibe. It's like you're stepping into just a different world. This place could be anywhere, I think. It could be Chicago. It could be New York. It could be, in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
It's just got that really awesome, cool, dope vibe.
I appreciate that.
You've done a great job.
And try to make it seem like you're walking back in time.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we keep talking about a potential event here, maybe late September.
Yeah.
Prohibition style. We're working on maybe making that happen. We got to pull some strings, but if we're able to pull it off, I think it'd be pretty fun.
It's going to be dope.
Yeah, it'd be pretty fun.
All right, I'm going to go back to you.
Okay.
My second question.
Okay.
And so, as I'm asking Renee, not KCK Chamber Renee. Yeah.
Bad job.
What do you want to see come to Wyandotte County? Like you personally. Like it can be business or part of town you want to see grow or anything. Like what do you want to see for Wyandotte County?
So when I moved into Strawberry Hill 10 plus years ago, I know that they had started some urban redevelopment. My grandparents lived right across the street from Wyandotte High School.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went to Indian Springs, Italian Delight, dear darling friends of mine.
Oh, yeah.
Love Italian Delight.
Renee, yeah.
Yes. Turner.
Yeah.
So we grew up down here where it was alive, and there were, we would go down Minnesota Avenue, which was, my grandparents always called it the Avenue. We're going down to the Avenue. I would love to see that again. I would love to see a community that, that walkability went past Strawberry Hill, where you connect all of the flavors of our downtown and those pockets. So the services that are needed for our community, the safety side that we all, have concerns about, but as well, just truly allowing us to move past the pockets. Like, how does that work? I would love to see that. We've recently have partnered with Eastside Innovations. Like, blows your mind, the excitement and the people that they're bringing around the table. When you talk about like Dot Proud, we are also sitting with people that have been here, and they're talking about they graduated from Wyandotte High School in the 60s and stuff like that. So these are residents that have stayed strong to this is my town. So let's bring that back alive. Let's really, truly be a city that we know that sometimes we keep to ourselves, but, expanding that, and what our vision is making that look more alive.
I like that.
I do too.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
There's great people that want to see it as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's all about growth. Yeah.
It is growth.
What about you, Danny?
I think we could really benefit as Wyandotte County is so big, right? And it's so spread out. I think the mayor is working on it, but having a shared vision where, the conversation is the same, whether you're here or in Western Wyandotte, where it's more of a collective vision for what we want this community to be, not just, this is Village West over here and downtown is different, right? I think a collective vision, one that people feel that's benefiting everyone, I think that would be cool to see. Renee mentioned the safety piece of it. I mean, there is that. I mean, you get some of that within an urban environment, but I think getting that kind of more under control is more conducive for business, right? Especially if we're trying to attract businesses to relocate to Minnesota Avenue.
Yeah.
We still have some buildings that, have kind of sat there for a little while. It's hard to kind of get people into them. Now, we've got a few, there's been some businesses across the street from us. Marknology moved there, Startup Hustle moved there. And so that's been great, but we'd really like to see that happening on down the blocks, right? And so that would be something I would like to see. Obviously, as I mentioned, I think it's important, especially for these awesomely culturally diverse communities, that we not lose that.
Yeah.
We do want to attract, more money and sell our houses for more money. Also more taxes with that too. But I think it's important to maintain that spirit of the community. So that would be important. And then also I think we totally miss it with not really having more connectivity to Northeast Kansas City, Kansas, Quindaro.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be more connectivity there. And I know that previous Congress people, and Sharice Davis is one of them, they're trying to work hard to turn that Quindaro site. It is a historic site, landmark site. With that will come funding. I understand there's some conversations with the tie to Missouri and, certain congressmen over there that there is interest in figuring out what that looks like via what the Underground Railroad represented. Yeah. And it did go through Missouri and up that river down to Quindaro. So how can we create something around that? I think the mayor has wanted to do something Smithsonian style. Yeah. Their visitor center to attract tourists there, because that history is so amazing. Right?
You don't want to lose it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it just should be shared with more people. And that would also drive more tourism. The Visit KCK has got the Heritage Trail, which I think does just touch on some of that. So, I would love to see that. I think we're on the right track. That Third Friday Art Walk is fantastic. You get people from all over the city.
Yeah, it's going to grow and grow and grow.
CABA, Central Avenue Betterment Association, Edgar Galicia's done a fantastic job with the Diversity Parade. Yeah. And then the Dia de los Muertos parade is I don't miss it. That's awesome. You know, and it's again, it's such a diverse place, right? That you could have a Day of the Dead parade. You know, it's relatively a Latino thing, but you just don't see Latino people out. You see everybody out. You know, the big old street party, you know, and it's fun. Yeah. And so, I mean, all those things I think are coming together. Obviously, we need the support from our government. And then really we just need people to continue to shop local, prioritize local, I think, over just kind of chain stores to help support this local economy.
Okay. So one last question for me in this thing.
Oh, man, we're almost at the hour.
Yeah, I don't know. We got, how much time we got? Eastside's not even paying attention over there. Good. Yeah. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So he told you it flies by.
You've been easy on us.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah. I try to be. I'm not trying to bamboozle you and get you up here and
throw some curveballs. Those have been pretty good questions.
But so, what's next for? I guess what's next for the chamber? Like, where do you want to see it go in the next 5-10 years? What do you like? Just what's on the table for the chamber here coming up?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, we have to continue to bring back our membership. You know, like I said, we did experience a dip due to losing small businesses, right? And I hope that the small businesses even listen to this podcast can understand that, you know, we are here for you, for your businesses. We can help you market, promote. I think the work that we do on the public policy front, government affairs, does go relatively unnoticed. Yeah. We probably need to do a better job of promoting that. Because we're out there fighting, you know, for our businesses in Topeka, advocating for our businesses at the federal level and at the state level. Right? You know, anytime we can, we're going to bring the governor down here or the lieutenant governor. I would like to see, you know, when I first came on board, you know, the chamber, you know, we needed some changes, right? I think we had about a 43-person board. That's way too big. We've got it down to a manageable size. Yeah. But a big goal of mine coming from the greater KC Chamber, and I was a director of diversity and inclusion, and having spent a lot of my career kind of in civil rights and equity conversation organizations, I was really focused on turning this organization into a more progressive and inclusive organization. Yeah. One that's not just a boys club, you know, or a very exclusive place where only certain pockets of business people could participate. You know, I thought it was very important to open this up as a true business organization that welcomes all. You know, maybe that wasn't always the case 100 years ago or 60 years ago. I mean, you name it, right? And so I think we've done a good job of that. I think in the next 5 years, you know, I would like to see this organization continue to grow in membership, grow in diversity, grow in board diversity, right? Because I think for us to truly represent this community, our board has to be reflective of that, right? And if it's all guys sitting around, then we're missing the mark, right? We should have gender balance on our board. We're a third Caucasian, a third African American, a third Latino. This community is. So our board should be close to that too, right? Yeah. And so I think that's what I would like to see happen.
Hey, we got a third of everything right now. Look at that.
Yeah, look at this.
Nice.
We did it without trying. Yeah. But again, that's what's awesome about this place. I mean, organically, it just happens, right? Yeah. And we just have to continue to take advantage of that. You know, obviously, I've been here almost 9 years. You know, I do believe in succession and sharing leadership, right? And I've come in, you know, sticking and moving, and it's been a great ride, you know. But again, you know, if there's an opportunity to open up the door for other people to lead, I think that's important too. And I think that we have plenty of leaders in the community that are stepping up in a great way. And so I do want us to continue to be more successful as an organization. But I would really like to pattern ourselves after the greater KC Chamber, which, you know, when they move on something, and usually it's become now social issues, it gets done. You know, when the business community decides that something's important, it gets done, whether we're talking immigration or equity, Black Lives Matter, LGBT. I mean, when businesses decide to support or get behind something, legislation can change very quickly, you know. And so I would love to see this organization in the next 5 years continue to grow in prominence and relevance on the regional conversation and be at the table when we're making decisions, you know, that affect the region. But KCK sometimes is brought in last minute. You know, so we already had dinner. Join us for dessert, right? I want to be there before the dinner's served.
Yeah, we need to be invited to
to be invited.
We need to be invited for pre-drinks.
Yeah, pre-drinks, right. Right. And so that we can really be part of that regional conversation. We are a great economic driver, probably the economic driver for Kansas, as a city and county. So, yeah, a lot of hopes and dreams there, but I think we're on the right path. Mayor Gardner's done a good job. D.A. Dupree. I mean, there's a lot of history being made here, and I think that's a great sign. We have the first black mayor for Wyandotte County. D.A. Dupree is the first DA of color for that organization. So hopefully that's sending a message. Anastasia Williams is leading NFM. Yeah. As a young African-American woman, that's wonderful. Yeah. And I think I would really like to see that continue. And for us to really, really capitalize on our diversity. I think it's our biggest strength. And so I do see that for our organization. And we will have a women's board chair next year. Jenny Kincaid Julian.
I thought it was going to be you or something.
Yeah. A board chair.
Board chair.
I'm still looking at you. I didn't know.
We got our eyes on Renee. She's got a lot of talent.
Hey, the one thing that I do want to share, and I think is such a moving piece, when I came on board last year, Drew Eanes pushed, let's get our women's chamber and our young professionals, that model and part of our chamber built up and really a part of our pulse. And as I met with Jenny coming on as our chair-elect, it's going to be a really driving factor in ours next year is how do we have a lot of amazing women leaders that are there and that are in Kansas City, Kansas, as well as our metro connections. But also really pushing that young professionals in our KCK Forward committee to get them involved. That's the workforce that we want to keep in Kansas City, Kansas. And those networking opportunities so that they get to meet and they don't feel drawn to leaving here. And I know that even Bridget Job is working with on a bigger scope on the Kansas side.
Tourism.
That, hey, you're from Kansas City. You've gotten your degrees. You've started a career. How about coming back home and working? So there's a lot of initiatives of us just building our home base. And we're going to be a part of that as the chamber.
Yeah, those two initiatives, we created right away. They did not exist prior to my coming on. And again, kudos to the Greater KC Chamber where I did manage Gen KC. And so our YP initiative is patterned after that. Again, for us as an organization, we want to create different on-ramps for people to plug into our organization. Yeah. It's not the good old guys club and, you don't have to be the CEO to participate, right? Now there's programming for that.
Yes.
But, if you're a young professional, we try to, via our YP group, we're connecting you with like-minded individuals, probably the same age range. Our YP is a 21 to 40, we say, but I think average age is about 28, right? And so these younger people, kind of mid-manager types, are ascending, and they're building their networks with each other, right? So that when they get to that top-level position, they all can call each other. The women's division, very proud of the work we've done there. There used to be a KCK Women's Chamber of Commerce, you may recall, and they've been around for about 100 years. They had to form their own Chamber of Commerce back in the day because the boys wouldn't let them play. But I was honored when they approached us to fold under our umbrella. We'd done some women initiatives in the past. I think they liked what they saw. And so they approached us about absorbing that organization. Yeah. And then coming in under our umbrella, which we then turned into a women's division. Yeah. So they create the programming, for women, by women. I mean, obviously women participate in all of our things, but it's really cool to see when you just have like a female networker and very few males in the room. But it's a different dynamic and the energy is so awesome and they're all supporting one another. And then with our males in the room, it also is very cool. And so I think for us and also selfishly, it creates a deep bench for us to tap into these females to serve on our board, right? And so then we don't have the excuse of saying we don't know any women that could serve on boards. We know women are underrepresented on boards of directors across, whether it's corporate or nonprofit. Yeah. So we want to be part of we don't want to be in that camp. And so it's been really cool. And again, we want this chamber to be a chamber. So if you work at BPU, right, it's not just Bill Johnson coming to events.
Yeah.
It should be the young marketing guy, Nick Moreno, who's over there. Used to be our intern, by the way, to participate in some of the other programming we have, right? And that's what we're here for. It's not just for that CEO that makes the decisions.
Yeah.
And I think that helps grow us as an organization and our presence, but also it kind of spreads the love too, and we got other people involved. And, if people are happy in stuff that they're doing outside of work, then retention is going to go up. And so we want to play a role in that as well. And we have fun too, man.
You guys are a good group. I love being around you guys.
It's not all serious all the time. But it's exciting and it's fun.
We love you.
Thank you. I love you too. So, before we end, I guess tell everybody how they can find you, if they can follow you on Instagram or Facebook, or what events you got coming up that they can come to, and I guess promote the chamber. This is your time.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ms. Director of Memberships and Events.
Well, we've got to give a shout out to My Gen Marketing.
My Gen Marketing,
Jimmy Lopez. Jimmy just came in, and just left.
He keeps everything up and moving and sharing information. So go to our website, the kckchamber.com, and there's an event calendar that's on there. We are doing the ribbon cutting tonight for the Tiki.
So this will air tomorrow. So,
sorry,
I know. So but if you're hearing this now, you should have been at Blue Palm.
Yeah, you should have been on that event page. But we've got some things that we're collaborating with. Women's Chamber is going to have an event in September. We've got public policy that will be at the office. All of those things. We've got Coffee and Connect that you don't have to be a member. We love having people come and join for those.
YPs are coordinating their annual Connect the Dot.
Yeah.
Which it's kind of a glorified pub crawl.
I'm actually meeting with
Jessica.
Jess?
No, I know Jessica because I met with her last year. Meeting with somebody else about it this year.
Well, whoever would be the point person.
Next week I'm meeting. Sorry.
We started that 7 years ago. It feels like 8 years ago. And it's been a cool thing. We get a bus and we do attract young people that don't even live in Wyandotte County. Yeah. And they get to experience kind of what we live, right? Like all these awesome places.
Mm-hmm. And the history of
KCK. And it's a good time. I think we stopped here last year.
Yeah.
And that was great, and so it's a good time for the YPs. They enjoy it. We hop on the bus too, just to kind of relive our glory days, Renee, back in the day. And then, and speaking of finding us, social media platforms, we're on Facebook, Instagram. I think for a minute we were like on Snapchat, but that's not as controllable, so we kind of got away from that. But definitely active on Instagram and Facebook. Not so much on X, formerly Twitter.
Yeah.
But I think we do a good job, and Jimmy Lopez with My Gen Marketing has done a fantastic job helping us with all the marketing needs that we have. So it's been fun. We have a good time.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming on. It's been awesome.
Thank you.
I told you the hour would fly by.
It did fly by.
Yeah. And I know you guys got a busy day.
Yeah, well, it's good. No, and I just want to shout out just before we leave, our amazing team. Mm-hmm. Renee does a phenomenal job. I can't say enough good things. Yeah. Gabrielle Duran holds on the fort over at the chamber. She's been there almost 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, I think she went to Washington as well, and she knows everybody.
Yeah.
Our director of finance, George Turner, Jimmy Lopez does our marketing. Shout out to my board chair, Drew Eanes, our board chair. He's done a fantastic job. Mm-hmm. And so we really appreciate his leadership.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
And have a drink for me tonight because I can't be there, but have a
Mai Tai.
Mai Tai. Oh, yeah. Those drinks are great down there.
Yeah,
they are.
Yes. Anyway, thank you guys for joining in. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you follow us, and we will check you out next time. We'll see ya.
Goodbye, everybody.